All right. Hey guys. So we're back. Actually, I thought like, oh, this is a good place to end, and then I was like, wait a second. I like basically like your eyes dart to something, and it said like end stream or not yet, and my eyes darted to not yet, and I'm like, something trying to tell me not yet. Like, is this basically like trying to fuck with me? Is this like good intuition? Is this someone kind of manipulating me? What is it? I realized that the second part of this was what? Don't try to make me into something I'm not. There you go. So electivity on one side, right? The other side, psychic vampires. Vampires. Don't try to make me into something I'm not. Now, the most pain in my life, and I don't even think I've identified this as much as I could have. So I'm glad I'm talking about it here. But I've been realizing today, and maybe before as well, but like I think today it's been sort of coming into clear focus. A lot of the people around you will try to turn you into something you're not. They'll say like, "Oh, I'm this liberal person. I'm this person who just like I'm so easygoing. I just want everyone to be able to do what they want." Check it out again. What? And now here's the thing. I think David Icke actually is kind of that way, or at least his persona. Like he comes off as more legitimately that way. But look at this. Aren't there so many people in your life where it seems like they'd if they were to have like a picture of themselves, this wouldn't be something, at least philosophically, that they'd necessarily be opposed to. It's like, oh yeah, I'll fly a flag of like inclusion and acceptance for all. And look at me. And I'm not trying to say David Icke isn't actually this way, but it seems to me like a lot of people might look at something like this and be like, oh yeah, standing there naked with the censored thing over me, just to underline how ridiculous it is to have any restraints or constraints on anything at all, on anyone at all. And then they will be the biggest possible psychic vampires of all time in your life to you. They will be the biggest possible psychic vampires of all time. Now, what are these people? What are these people? Well, I don't know if I would want to go around classifying people, although I think vampires is probably a good term for it. And I saw that on a Substack post today, so I'm probably carrying that a little from there. But not that I haven't seen the term psychic vampires, of course, that's fairly common, or of course or not. But a lot of people in your life, and it may be the most Libby, most like hate has no home here, tolerance, inclusion. We're going to round everyone up and tell them just how much we accept them all. These people are often, and I guess it goes along with the whole like basically the lady doth protest too much, or like whenever somebody is like, oh, I'm so adamant about this is my value, or like this is what like I like non-racism. And what do you get with all the anti-racism people? Well, they seem to be the most racist people of all time, or and very overtly as well, but they don't even admit it. Perhaps they don't even see it because they're just racist against certain other groups that they think are racist. But they classify them by their race, and they say, well, because they'll literally say in some cases, because of your race, you are racist. That's what they'll say in like anti-racism books. I don't know if they're laughing when they write this shit, but a lot of people walk around. It doesn't seem like they're laughing when they say it. So I think it's sort of a common thing where somebody will go around sort of waving a flag and saying like, oh, this is my value, like this is what I believe in. And then of course almost every step of the way they will be the exact opposite of that, right? Oh, hate has no home here. They're the most hateful people you've ever seen. They're the most angry, bitter, repulsive, repellent, angry people you've ever seen, right? The tolerance people, they're incredibly intolerant to anything, not even that you say, but that they've been told not to listen to. They like you don't even get a chance to say what you're going to say, because as soon as it sounds like something that they've been told not to listen to, and they're given these cues in I guess a fairly subtle way by the media, where it's like anyone says this, that, or the other thing, they even bring up a topic in a certain way, that means they're racist and they're intolerant. You got to not listen to them. And so you may have something that they've never even thought of, and they're all about tolerance, and they will just shout you down or just like go la 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 whenever you say it, right? Because that's just sort of a classic like psychological dichotomy, I suppose. But hold on. Or maybe it's not even a classic dichotomy. Maybe that's just like a current form of conditioning that is given out a lot by the media, and a lot of people fall prey to it. I don't want to give it the dignity of saying that it's even a psychological, like a sort of a psychological pattern that would happen a lot otherwise. Maybe it's just a bunch of really mean, twisted people who know that they can tell people one thing and then essentially present people things that are entirely contradictory to it while telling them that it fits in there. And then they twist these people up in knots, and these people are walking around like, I'm the most tolerant person. Fuck you. Right? It's like, oh my God. Um, so so you'll often have people, similar kind of people, but it might be a lot of other people too, because I'm not trying to just put this on one side of the bullshit political spectrum, although it's often on one side at least. But you'll probably have a lot of people going around who say like, oh, I'm all about individuality, and I'm all about you being able to be as free as you want, and I'm letting my freak flag fly. I'm listening to Jimi Hendrix because I was told that he was a really free guy, and I'm just gonna have I'm just gonna have a blast here with my hippie kind of conditioning, and anything that you say that goes against any part of that is entirely anathema to me, and I'm gonna shut you down immediately. But it's worse than that. It's worse than that. At least if they shut you down or something, if they refuse to listen to you or they yelled at you or something, that'd be one thing. However, hold on. However, it becomes quite another thing when it seems like there are people who like are in your life. And see, here's the thing: check out the gang stalking masterclass video. I talked about it, Stephanie the Seeker, or I'd recommend it anyway. It's like 39 minutes long. I'm not sure what the exact title is, but on YouTube, she talks about. She's like, look, there may be, and it's a good message. Like it's a pretty fucking good video, even though I think there is some fear stuff going on. Also, she has a thing in the background. I think it's probably "Be Still and Know That I Am," but her head is blocking out part of it, and the camera is cutting off another part, so it just says "ill" for a long time, and it's like, is this a psyop, Stephanie? Like, look, I'm not trying to say that it is, but these are some things that you can look for, similar to like the big Mickey Mouse. There's another guy who makes gang stalking videos, and he had like a big Mickey Mouse thing behind him. And then there's another guy who makes videos talking about like psychology, but also sometimes seemingly mentioning gang stalking. And he had Minnie Mouse on a mug, and it's like, are these like MK Ultra kind of like hints that like you guys aren't on the level, like Mickey Mouse, like Minnie Mouse? Is that some kind of like symbolism you're trying to put on me? And so you see ill in the background. She's talking about this stuff. um, it's like, okay, well, just you want to keep your discernment on. It's like, okay, Matt, well, what? You got the fucking star. Is that supposed to be astrotheology or like the stellar god or something? Then you have Ricardo Cumsox behind you. It's like, what are you doing, Matt? It's like, okay, no, that's fair. Look, I'd challenge you to do it with everything, right? Not that you're just going around being like just turning everything down immediately, but you want to keep your eyes open, right? Be honest. Do not bear false witness. It doesn't say don't lie. It says don't bear false witness. That's bigger than don't lie. Bearing false witness includes lying. It also includes stuff where, well, I guess it is kind of the same thing as lying. It is kind of synonymous, but basically, like it's bearing false witness to say, okay, I'll do that for you tomorrow. You don't know if you're going to do that tomorrow. You may be fairly reliable, seemingly, or like you may be fairly consistent. When you say you're going to do something, you may end up doing it a lot. But as Jesus says in the Sermon on the Mount, don't make promises. Let yes and no be your oath, because you don't even know, you don't know what you're going to do. Like God could strike you down today. You didn't end up doing that. Retrospectively, you just bore false witness. Except no, you bore false witness the time you said that, because unless you somehow knew that you were going to do it beyond the shadow of a doubt, and nothing was going to stop you ever. That's bearing false witness, right? Bearing false witness, it kind of is lying, but it sort of shows you like maybe a wider context of what lying might be, or deceptive behavior, right? Anyway, hold on. So, but Stephanie the Seeker, anyway, she's saying some good things in that video. At least some of them. And she's like, and I'm not saying like anything's bad. Like she seems like a sweet woman, and if she's being honest about what she says, it's like, yeah, she seems like she's been through shitload, and she's here to help, or at least she's got a lot of like helpful stuff to say. So good for her. And she says something like, "Okay, well, you have this person in your life, and this person is like, you just know, like every time you like the honey she talks about the honeymoon period gets smaller and smaller. It doesn't have to be a sexual thing. It could be a friendship thing or even a family thing. It's like, oh, things are nice, and then suddenly this person strikes at you again, and then, oh, things are nice, and then suddenly they just strike at you again, and it's like it just gets smaller and smaller the times that things are nice. And it's like, not that every person like this has to be a demonic influence or something, but a lot of these people, they might actually be like basically like sucking out your soul. And I don't mean like necessarily literally, although James Taylor, they'll take your soul if you let them. Oh, but don't you let them. That's a song called You've Got a Friend, right? James Taylor, the nice sounding guy, although often talks about sad and sort of dark things. But James Taylor, he's like, they'll take your soul if you let them. Oh, but don't you let them. They'll take your soul. That's like the Dementors. That's like the truth drop in The Office where Michael, dressing up as Prison Mike, he's like, they were like, what's the worst thing about Prison Mike? And he's like, the Dementors. They try to suck your soul out or something. And it's like, well, as someone who's been to prison, yeah, that's actually the worst thing. The Dementors, though, are just other people there who will actually, in at least in the James Taylor sense, they will take your soul if you let them. And so the worst thing about prison, it's not about like not being able to do this or that. It's not even about like being fed food by other prisoners, which is just a horrific breach of horrific human rights violation to have other people that you say yourself as a government, you put them here because they're bad people and untrustworthy, and then you put them in charge of the other people's food. That's a human rights violation. That I was in there and I was like, how can I eat any of this? It's other prisoners doing this. They're probably destroying this food. It's like, oh, you've got guards watching. It's like you have guards watching every single second. I fucking doubt it. Why don't the guards make the food? In fact, don't let the guards do it either. You gotta have watchmen watching the watchmen with that shit, because it's actually the food that these people are eating. But oh no, we don't care about prisoners, even though we pretend we do. Go back to the part 1 of this video to see all the fucking shit where people pretend to care and they don't, right? Oh, we pretend to care about prisoners, but we don't give a shit about them at all, right? Anyway, the worst thing about prison is the Dementors, but the worst thing about your life is the Dementors, because or the worst thing about my life has been, and like I've had a bunch of trauma, I've had a bunch of abuse, I've had harassment, I've had people seeming to break into my car or like listen to what I'm saying in my car and then repeat the words back to me when I got back to work, like people I worked with, like really horrific shit. I went to a gas station in the past month or so, and like basically everybody there was like looking at me like they fucking knew me and they were waiting for it's like, and you can go check out, I think it's the Sora period video. If that sounds insane, check out that video and get to the end of it and tell me. It's like, oh, you can accept what I say or not, but that's that's the situation as I remember it. See, a lot of people are just looking for a way that they can just cancel out what you're going to say before you even say it. Well, Matt, that sounds crazy. Oh, did you hear all the details? Did you listen to the entire thing, or did you hear sort of a little summary, or like hear something and then it seemed to be like, oh, I don't have to listen to that. I'm just gonna disregard the whole thing. It's like, oh, you seem like a really discerning, honest person, right? You seem about as honest as the rest of the people I usually see, which is not very. But anyway. An honest person is a fucking treasure. But okay. And then you got your James True, your Sam Harris, I don't know. James True, I love him, man. But yeah, your James True saying like, well, nobody's honest. It's like, I don't know, James. I think some people are a lot more honest than other people. And I think it's actually a pretty shitty thing to go around basically like praising dishonesty and stuff. It's like, dishonesty is what led us here, man. You can say other things led us here. Dishonesty is like the biggest component, or like that. If there's evil going on, there's fucking dishonesty around it. I don't know in what sphere of evil or bad things happening that isn't loaded up with fucking dishonest people. In any case, let's keep going. And he might say, well, Matt, but everybody's dishonest. Everybody's a dishonest person, so everything would be loaded. It's like, no. I mean, I don't know. You literally have people like, let's not necessarily get into a whole argument about honesty with somebody who's actually been pretty kind to me and whom I actually like the work of. But I'm just saying, look, The first thing you'll notice about most people is that they're not fucking very honest. And the first thing that seems pretty amazing about a lot of people that end up being good, it's often that they're pretty honest too. I don't know. This is probably not convincing. I'm probably not making a good argument here. That might be another video. Whatever. Let's keep going. Okay. So the mentors. No, you know what? Let's talk about it. Okay. So yeah, if somebody were truly honest with you, then if they were fucking with you, they would be fucking with you in an honest way. Now, the thing is, though, most times when people are fucking with you, they're not fucking with you in an honest way. They're actually fucking with you in a passive aggressive way, where now you don't get to respond to them because they're so cool. And our whole society, it's not about being good. It's not about being honest. It's about who is giving the best appearances, who looks like they're the coolest, who looks like they're the most even-keeled at any given moment, even if they're broiling with rage inside. As long as they don't come out and literally say I'm angry, then we're all so fucking dishonest. Well, most people